Hey guys, and welcome back to Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc. As always, I'm Team Fire 93, and we figured out Hifumi murdered Taka, I think. And that there's a hammer that was used in the repository to kill Hifumi, so let's figure out more.
Whoever did that is the true killer. The one Hifumi was working with. And the one who betrayed him.
Yes!
Hold on a moment. I still think it's strange to assume someone was working together with him.
Why do you think that's strange, Celeste, unless you did it?
The way the graduation rule works, there is no benefit to helping someone else carry out a murder.
Well, what if he murdered Taka, and then you murdered him? Or somebody else murdered him?
So the idea that anyone would work together like that is simply ludicrous. We talked about this, did we not?
We did talk about how there wouldn't be any reason for anyone to work together. At least that's what we thought at first, but... what if they each murdered their own person? Spotless hammer! I don't think we use that again. But we'll see.
Based on the rules that have been laid out for us, even if more than one person is complicit in the murder, only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate and survive. Assuming the rule holds true, it is simply impossible that two people work together on this.
That is how the rule was explained to us.
But that only really applies if there's one murder, right? In this case, however, there were two murders.
I don't know. Can we really say there's no chance two people work together on this?
Based on the rules that have been, even if more than one, only the one who actually carried out the act can, assuming the rule holds true.
No, that's wrong!
Ta-da!
Since there were two murders, it's at least plausible that more than one person was involved.
What do you mean?
If there'd only been one murder, then yes, the idea of an accomplice isn't really worth considering.
But what if the plan was, you murder Taka, I murder somebody else, and then they turn on Hifumi at the last chance?
Naturally, if only one person can be saved per murder, an accomplice has no risk versus reward benefit.
Risk versus reward benefit?
The payoff for working together. The reward that balances out the risk of taking part in a scheme. There's no point in being someone's accomplice if there's no benefit to you.
Right.
However, if there were some potential mutual reward for the risk, then cooperation becomes possible.
You're saying that two people could act as each other's accomplices to commit two separate murders?
Yes.
I think that's what the true killer told Hifumi. They would each have an accomplice for their crime. And based on the case's events, Hifumi would have been the first one to act, murdering Taka.
Yep.
They made him carry out the first murder so he couldn't back out of helping them later on.
Ah, very clever.
So in this case, there wasn't one single person committing multiple murders. Instead, each person killed someone, creating two separate incidents.
I kind of wish that this case were to go on with it have been like somebody else murdered Taka and then somebody else murdered Hifumi, not Hifumi murdered Taka and then somebody murdered Hifumi, because then we could get rid of 4 people in one case.
And it only looked like one person because that's how the true killer designed it to look. A single suspicious individual, a similar weapon used in each crime, disappearing bodies,
and also Hero in a robot suit.
By creating one seamless set of circumstances, they made it look like one person was behind it all.
They were gonna try and pin the whole thing on Hero, but we're not that stupid.
The mastermind picked their target and managed to convince him to go along with their plan.
If literally this entire room were filled with Heroes and Hinas, well, yes, Hero would be dead right now. Well, no. Well, yeah, Hero would be dead along with everybody except for the actual murderer. But we're not that stupid.
And then, to avoid the no accomplices rule, they simply killed their accomplice. Which, if true, means that betraying Hifumi was part of the plan from the very beginning.
Which makes them a cold-blooded motherfucker.
That's just awful! How could anyone be so cruel?
I don't know, the only people who I can think of that are that cruel would be Byakuya, Celeste. Yeah, those are my only two.
You think so? I can't help but admire its cunning.
Yeah.
Still, their choice of accomplice seems odd.
Effort made to convince us the two murders were the same. That was the main characteristic this time. Kyoko must have noticed that fact from the very beginning, which is why she said not to look at this as a series of connected events, but entirely separate instances. Kyoko really is amazing, although, when you think about it, she's almost too amazing. She's also kind of a cold-blooded person, so, you know, it could be Kyoko too. Like, it's almost unnatural how good she is at this.
I understand how an accomplice could be involved, but then who was the one pulling Hifumi's strings?
That's problem numero uno right now.
Oh, and of course, Genocide Jack. The true killer manipulated Hifumi to carry out a number of actions and in the end murdered him. In the debates up till now, the way the case is unfolded, when you consider all that, there's really only one person who seems to fit. What? I'm sorry, what? I'm supposed to figure this out already? Okay. I'm gonna have to go with Celeste then.
Here's my answer.
I was right. Okay, yeah, my suspicions were right.
So I'm the suspicious individual now, am I?
Yes. You've been suspicious this whole time.
I really do hate this kind of joke.
A joke? I wonder.
I mean, you've pulled Hifumi's strings before, so why not do it again?
So what you are saying then is that I specifically chose to work together with Hifumi.
And here's where you're gonna change your character to be your not quiet self.
The idea that I would choose to spend any amount of time interacting with him.
Yep, here it comes. I can hear it in her voice. It's getting louder.
That I would go within
Yep.
10 feet of that shit brains, that lazy, worthless goddamn idiot!
Yeah, there it is.
Pardonnez-moi.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, there is evidence to support it.
Is that so?
It is. Throughout the investigation, there was certain behavior that was common only to the two of you. Considering what we've learned so far, it only further proves that the two of you were working together.
I'm not sure what proof you're talking about here, Byakuya. What is it that only Hifumi and Celeste had in common? Oh, they were encountering the suspicious individual. Yeah, they were the only ones who
The
encountered the
behavior they had in
suspicious
common
individual.
has
Okay.
to do with the suspicious individual in the suit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The only ones
okay.
who ever actually saw Robo Justice firsthand were Celeste and Hifumi.
Yep.
Shush. The adults are talking now.
Well, fuck you, Byakuya.
Sorry.
As he said, only Celeste and Hifumi ever laid eyes on the costumed individual. If we accept that Hifumi was one of the culprits, we can't help but suspect what Celeste has said as well.
Okay, yeah, now it makes more sense. Okay, I wasn't following.
Everything they told us was a lie?
Yes, and they planted Robo Justice on Hero so that we would try and make him
After taking
the culprit.
Hifumi to the nurse's office, we all began our search for this individual, correct?
And Celeste was the one who said,
And
I
not
see a
too long
shadow!
after that, do you remember what Celeste said?
There was a shadow on the stairs. I saw a shadow, something moving around on the top of the stairs.
We headed to the second floor specifically because of what she claimed to have seen.
Yep.
Next, to draw us all to the physics lab up on the third floor.
She screamed.
She let out a blood-curdling scream.
And when we'd all come to see what was wrong, what was it she said?
It was down at the end of the third floor hall. Now it makes sense how, yeah. Yep, blocking the stairs, so we went down the hall, and then
Once
Hifumi
she'd done
screamed.
her job of getting us all up to the physics lab, it was time for her partner to get to work.
And he just had to scream. And then we're drawn down to the nurse's office, and it was her idea for us to split up, too. They came from downstairs, it must have been Hifumi. This is bad, come on.
It was to get us to divide into two groups. So that we would discover both bodies at the same time?
Yeah!
In fact, Celeste was precisely the one who proposed that we split up.
Damn, Byakuya is on top of this here. Then why don't we split up into two groups? I'll lead the hunting party, that seems much more interesting. Very well, then Makoto and Hina, you come with me to the nurse's office. I will leave the capture of the suspicious individual to Toko, Byakuya, and Sakura.
Well, if Celeste and Hifumi were working together, all those chance events suddenly become connected.
Very good.
And on top of that piercing cry of yours early on
was a way to alert Hifumi. I love it.
That was to signal Hifumi, wasn't it? It was your way of telling him, we're on the 3rd floor, everything's going according to plan. Why else would you let out a scream that could have carried across the sea?
Damn.
I just realized another strange thing.
What's that?
When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, who we now know was only pretending to be dead.
I certainly was not expecting this. I did not imagine that Hifumi would be murdered.
Celeste, you were the first one to say he'd been murdered.
Before we'd even checked him, but we never checked him.
You wanted to make sure we wouldn't have any doubt in our minds.
Sure.
I don't believe it. Everything. The whole thing was one big act.
Hina, you were with Celeste when Hifumi's body disappeared, right?
Was she the one that suggested you go to the bathroom?
Yeah. I was feeling kinda sick, so Celeste took me to the bathroom. Wait! Then that was...
A distraction.
She wasn't worried about you. She just saw a chance to help Hifumi sneak out of the nurse's office.
Maybe part of the original plan was that she would actually have killed Hina because, you know, he could have been the accomplice and then they would have had 2 dead bodies right there, but because of the fact that she wasn't feeling good, she was like, oh, I could actually just kill my accomplice and get away on my own.
Each piece isn't much by itself, but start putting them together and the picture gets very ugly indeed.
And Celeste has just been quiet the whole time.
Celeste?
I have no idea what you mean.
Don't bother trying to deny it. You made one fatal mistake.
Oh, did I?
I didn't even catch it myself when you first said it, but
I think I did. Now that we're going over it, yeah.
looking back, I can say that one little slip-up was your undoing.
I didn't want to say anything because I keep giving away these things a little bit, I feel like.
What
I don't know what's going on in the game all the time, but when I see something, I'm like, wait, oh, maybe I should keep that to myself so that it can be a surprise to the audience.
I'm talking about what you said after Hifumi's body disappeared and we returned to the nurse's office.
Let's go over it again, just for the whole class. They must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around frightened and confused. We're all going to die here. We're going to die just like those guys did. Or died. She never knew about Taka. We never told her about Taka at that point.
I remember her saying that too, but I don't understand what's so strange about it.
Then pay attention. Sakura, Toko, and I were first to discover Taka's body in the equipment room.
And then they told me when I walked in, but we had not told her yet.
Then Makoto showed up and told us Hifumi had been killed. So Sakura and I left with Makoto. Once we were in the hall, we ran into Celeste, and the 4 of us headed to the nurse's office.
We never had time to tell her that Taka was dead.
The entire time we were together, none of us said anything about Taka being dead.
So why would she say those
Think
guys?
Celeste's comment doesn't make sense. It was completely out of place.
The same as Mondo saying the whole blue track jacket.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about. Although I don't really get what it means.
Or how Byakuya was like, of course we decided to choose the girls' locker room because it was Chihiro who was dead.
You hear that, Celeste? Everyone's having some trouble understanding. Could you repeat what you said? If you're really not the culprit, you shouldn't have any problem repeating it, right?
Byakuya said this Celeste's comments doesn't make sense. But what is he alluding to? Are we not figuring this out? Come on! Monokuma file number 3, okay?
All I said was... They must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. They must be positively elated.
Oh my god.
We are all going to die here. We are going to die, just like those guys died. And that is all I said.
And that's all it takes to finish this. It's obvious, isn't it, what was so strange about Celeste's comment?
No, When she said that, she should only have known about Hifumi's death. With that in mind, what's so strange about what she said is...
All I said was... They must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. They must be positively elated. We are all going to die here. We are going to die.
Just like those guys died.
Your meaningless words tire me. Please stop wasting my time.
Shoot!
Okay. There
All
is, but I
said
gotta...
was, they must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around,
I don't know.
frightened and confused. They must be positively elated. We are all going to die here. We are going to die, just like those guys died.
I don't know!
Shoot!
All I said was, they must really be enjoying the sight of us. They must be. We are going to die, just like those guys died. And that is all I said.
And that's all it takes to... What was so strange about Celeste's comment?
So strange. I'm not sure. I'm drawing at picking at straws here. I know what it is, but how do we get the contradiction?
All I said was, they must really be enjoying the sight of us. They must be. We are all going to die. We are going to die, just like those.
There we go.
No, it's wrong.
Yeah, you couldn't have possibly known about Taka because nobody told you about Taka at that time.
That's right. There's no reason Celeste should have said,
Just like those guys died.
When she said that, none of us had told her Taka was dead.
Exactly. And I caught it and I was like, man, I'm gonna hold on to that.
Exactly. And we didn't run into her until after we were all out in the hall. There was never any chance for her to have seen his body in the equipment room for herself.
So how did you know, Celeste? How did you know more than one person had been killed? And how did you know they were both guys? Because Kyoko had also disappeared, right? So she could have been dead too.
Well, you know, I use guys as like a general term. I don't, when I'm saying like, hey guys, I don't mean like male members of the audience only. I refer to everybody. Like, hey guys. When I walk into a group of people, heck, when I talk about girls, like, I'm like, yeah, you guys were doing this. It's like, so, you know, I can see Celeste's point there.
You all have such vivid imaginations. You know that?
Imagination.
Guys is gender neutral to me.
You claim that I was lying when I told you about the suspicious person I saw.
Uh-huh.
Then what about the picture I took?
You posed it. Simple as that.
How do you explain this picture
Because
of the costumed villain
Hifumi was
dragging
in on
Hifumi
your
away?
goddamn plan!
It has to be some kind of setup, right?
Yes.
So let's put the suit on.
Nope.
And then she used the camera's timer to set up the picture.
You're in that picture there, Hero. You're in the suit. And I'm guessing that Hifumi is actually dragging you. And that Celeste took the picture.
Have you so quickly forgotten? You are the only one who could have possibly fit into that suit. Plus, I happen to know that this particular camera does not have a timer. In other words, it is an unassailable fact that this is a picture of Hifumi being dragged away.
No.
If everything I told you was a lie, how can this picture exist?
If we know that Hifumi was alive and was also a part of this whole scheme, how can we say that Robo Justice is even a part of anything? So...
Simple. Are we sure that's really a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away?
What could you possibly mean by that?
Surely there are other explanations than the one you've offered up.
No, there is no other explanation.
Okay. Other explanations? If it wasn't a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away, the only other possibility is Hifumi dragging the suspect away.
I got it!
The Hifumi and the suspect
It's
had been
not
drinking.
a picture
Yeah.
of the suspect dragging Hifumi away. I would say it's a picture of Hifumi dragging the suspect away.
Oh, caught
That's
her.
certainly within the realm of possibility. The one being dragged off in that picture isn't Hifumi, but the person in the robot suit.
Yep.
We've simply been led to believe that it's the other way around.
Because it was Celeste who made us think that.
And the strange costume might only exist to lead us astray even farther. If you
Yes.
saw someone wearing something like that in this situation, of course you'd notice and be suspicious.
And we're all gonna think it's Robo Justice, but we've already ruled out that it's not Hero, and not
That's
Robo
what
Justice,
happened.
therefore.
You put me to sleep and made me out to be the bad guy in all this.
Yeah, you're too stupid for that, Hero.
Such a thing is utterly impossible. Hifumi was dragging him away? Ridiculous.
Is it? I don't think it's ridiculous at all.
Then shut your mouth and allow me
Whoa.
to educate you.
Okay. Celeste thinks she can prove that there's no way Hifumi was dragging the suspect away? But is that really possible? Another argument. Okay. Let's see what your argument is. Robo Justice costume, Yasuhiro's message, Robo Justice blueprints. Okay. Okay.
Dressed me up in that suit after I passed out. Then you just draped me across Hifumi and had him carry my weight. You tried to make me look like the bad guy.
Like I said, ridiculous.
Where's your proof?
As you can see in the picture, the suspect is standing perfectly upright. If the person inside the suit was unconscious, there's no way they could stand up straight like that.
Damn it.
Shoot!
You dressed me up in that suit after I passed
Oh,
out.
it's a Robo Justice costume, not the...
Then you just draped me across Hifumi and had him carry my weight.
Got it.
You tried to make me look like the bad guy.
Like I said, as you can see in the picture, that if the person inside the suit, there's no way they could stand up straight like that.
They can't bend at the waist, so yes, they could. They would very much stand up straight.
No. Even if the person inside the suit were unconscious, they could still stand up like that. Because that Robo Justice suit had a certain characteristic.
Can't bend at the waist.
That's right! They totally made a mistake when they made it, so it couldn't bend at the waist.
I'm not so sure that was a mistake.
I think that was
I
intentional.
think the suit was designed from the beginning to be used the way it was.
Oh,
Celeste and Hifumi took the suit they'd specially designed and stuffed Hiro into it. That's how they were able to fake that whole thing. The point of it all was to make us believe whoever was in the suit was to blame.
well, I'm starting to break there,
Well
Celeste.
then, I suppose this is checkmate.
Oh God, here she goes. We're gonna go full 360, turn upside down. Yep, there we go. Yep, we're upside down. Okay.
Don't make me laugh, you idiot! What do you mean, checkmate? Celeste?
Yeah, this is the real Celeste.
Clearly! You want to cram me into your little guilty box? Well, there's one little problem.
And what's that?
Have you already forgotten what Hifumi told us as he lay dying?
Yasuhiro. Hifumi, who attacked you? Who tried to kill you? Who killed me? That's right, I remember their name. Yasuhiro.
When we asked him who had attacked him, his answer was quite clear, was it not?
Whoa, your voice is getting a little high there.
He said, and I quote, Yasuhiro. In other words, Yasuhiro Hagakure!
Right, but my name isn't really Yasuhiro. It's actually Taro.
Is it?
Your confusing statements don't make any sense. You're only making things more complicated.
He did say Yasuhiro, but are we sure he was really pointing the finger at Hiro?
What else could he mean though? That is one thing that's, yeah.
I'll burn you alive!
That is one thing that I'm confused
Kyoko,
about.
what do you mean by that?
Think back to how Hifumi used to talk to us.
Oh, okay.
How did he refer to each of us?
He said people's last names.
A gun!
I was
That's right.
Mr.
Our last
Naegi.
names. He called us all by our last names.
Mr. Naegi, Miss Maizano.
Exactly. I know I heard him say Mr. Naegi more than once, for example.
Miss Kirigiri.
So if Hifumi did mean to say Hiro's name, he would have said his last name, Hagakure.
But he didn't. He said Yasuhiro. So whose last name is Yasuhiro? Nobody's. Unless Celeste isn't using a real name.
I'm sure it was just incidental. By chance, his first name.
And that's why Celeste said, or not Celeste, that's why Kyoko said that we need to use the handbook, because it'll say her real name.
Don't talk.
Random chance. Now isn't that a convenient explanation? No, there's no reason to think he would have said the name any different than normal. But he must have run out of energy before he could say any more.
So Hifumi was trying to tell us the last name of whoever killed him?
But the name he said doesn't apply to anyone here.
Well, no. Hold on. There's one person it could apply to.
Celestia
And that's Celeste.
Ludenberg.
She never actually told us what her real name is.
What did you just say? To think you'd take your false accusation so far, I don't know whether to laugh or spit! Come on! Enough with your idiotic blather! Yasuhiro is a loser's name! Do I look like a loser to you?
You've lost your entire persona of being the little French maid, lolly girl.
Well, do I?
Okay.
What? I think I've earned the right to be a little on edge.
Oh,
Okay, then fill us in. What's your real name?
Make sure your ear holes are wide open and listen up! My real name is Celestia Ludenberg. Could you please stop making me repeat myself over and over again?
Celeste won't give up, so then I have to do something to make her accept it. Okay. What's that? E-handbook. Spotless hammer, Yasuhiro's message.
Hifumi was trying to tell us something. He wanted us to know the killer's last name, Yasuhiro.
If there's one person here who might have that last name,
It would have to be you, Celeste. You haven't told anyone what your real name is.
how many times do I have to tell you? My name is Celestia Ludenberg, god damn it!
I love
How
it.
long do you plan to go on pretending?
I'm not pretending. It's the truth. And since you have no way to contradict me,
I do.
No, that's wrong.
No, there is a way for me to contradict you. Handbook.
That's it. The handbook.
what?
Anytime you turn your handbook on, it shows the owner's name when it boots up, right?
Yep.
Monokuma told us all about it before.
This handbook is absolutely vital to a healthy school life, so don't lose it. When you start it off, it will display your name. Always make sure you have the right one. Now, this is not your everyday notebook. It has so many more uses than that.
So all we have to do is check her handbook, and that'll clear up everything. That's how we can find out Celeste's real name.
That's an invasion of privacy. I refuse to cooperate.
Celeste, can you please just tell us what really happened?
Oh, I feel like we're gonna get story time here, and we are about out of time. So, we're gonna have to call it for today, guys. See you guys next time for the conclusion of this case. I'm fairly certain we're at the end. See you guys.